Hello, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we will cover money rails chain. So I'll give you a brief introduction about it. Basically, whenever you create a website in which there is a payment or anything, you will be using numbers, right? And those numbers are basically currencies, money, and everything around that. So whenever you are using money, if you want to keep it local, you can just use decimal value, float value, which is not the best way, but still, if you want to get rid of the internationalization kind of thing, you can just keep decimal or float values, right? And by default, you can understand, okay, this is a USD currency or this is an Indian currency, something like that. But the best way is to have a currency along with it, like whether to explicitly mention which currency it is and what is the value of that. Okay. For example, you can mention USD one, which is $1 equivalent, right? And in India, it can be like rupees 83 or something like that. So for that, we have money rails gem. Okay, let's go on that money rails gem. Okay, let me open this and this. Both of these are okay. Ruby money rails gem. Okay, so let's start around this. What I will do is I'll show you my current code structure. There is nothing much in this actually. So there is a schema in which we have users which are coming from device, not to worry about that. And there are products which just have name, nothing else. So what we will try to do is for this particular product, we will add money to it, okay? Using money rails gem, not using simple decimal or float values. Okay, so let's do it. Let's add this gem first. Great. Bundle install. By the way, this is a setup video for another video that I will do related to money in future. Gem install money rails, or you can, okay, no. Then we will have to initialize all the things. So let's do initialize. And we can see initializers money.rp. So let's go to that config file. Config initializers money.rp, right? And in this, you can go through it on your own. But basically, you can define configuration of your money, like the default value or the format if you want to decide all those basic kind of things. Okay. There you can define the default currency, this without rails in this call. Okay. We can define the default currency here. I think default, no, not default bank, default currency here. But we won't do that because by default it is USD only. So I don't need to worry about that. Now let's start working towards the money. How can we add money to our database? So we can do something like this. Monetize product, add monetize. Okay. So let's try to do this. I won't name it price because I want to show you what is the difference. Yeah, so your database might not use price as a keyword, as a column name. So I clearly want to show you what is the difference and where you want to use a different word, basically. Okay, so let's name it something else. Rails generate migration, add money to products. We have this migration file. Let's go to this migration file. Okay, and what does it say? It says this. So let's try to do this. But I won't name price. I will name it as amount is something I think money rails use amount somewhere. So I'll use rate. Okay, might not be the best word right now, but I'll just use rate. Okay, and another example would be currency present false. Okay, so if you are not doing internationalization, you can use this currency present false, but I won't recommend it. Even if you are doing localization, like you are creating product only for India, where INR currency will be used, then also use this because if in future, if you want to expand to other countries, you won't have to do much work. It will be much more easier. Okay, so let's do this migration. Actually, let's have see this. Okay, optional price, no amount and currency. Amount can be nil and currency can be nil. Do we allow that? I'm just thinking. Yeah, we can allow that. No, let's not do all those things. It's fine. So Rails DB migrate. Okay, great. What is the effect of this? Let's go to our schema. Why is it not schema? Yes, we can see. We used rate, right? But the result of that was rate cents and rate currency. Rate cents is basically an integer. Why is it an integer? Because the most common convention for any currency is, for example, in USD, it could be like $75.65. Okay, in India, it can be like 32 rupees and 75 paisa. So finally, there are two decimal points. Okay, or the lowest form of currency is like cents or paisa. So for that, beyond that, we are not doing any, like you cannot have 100 units for paisa, at least in today's date. In past, we used to have that also. So because of that, we are keeping it integer only. So basically, if you are adding $100, not 100, let's say $75, it would be added in the database as 7500 because it will convert the dollar to cents, which is basically multiplied by 100. Okay. So if you are trying to add, let me add a comment here. If you are trying to add $75 in database, it will get added as rate cents. The value of that would be 7500, which is 75 into 100, 7500. And the currency will be added separately, which will be not dollar, it will be USD. Okay. USD, because that again get converted to dollar, which is the currency notation, but in database we save it as USD only. Okay. So let's see how our database and everything can help us. So we have to go to product model and use this. Okay, let's go to product model, app models, product, but it was not an optional price sense. We had this. Okay, discount subunit, no, price cents. So instead of price cents, we will have to use rate cents because we used rate, not price. Allow nil, I won't use that. Okay, great, great, great. Anything else? You can mention the numericality. Let's use it. Let's use allow nil, not. Let's not worry about that. We are allowing nil, but at the same time we are adding the numericality that this value should always be greater than zero and should be less than equals to this. So that you can control. But I only want to save that. Okay, this should be greater than equals to zero. Okay, anything else? Disable validation, numericality. You can basically go in depth of it. It depends. Now let's see how it works. Clear, raise DB, reset. I'm resetting my entire database. I think I might get some error, or let me check. Okay, these are some deprecated warnings because of Ruby Rails, Ruby money. We don't have to worry about that. Great. Rails C. I'll see the first product that we have, product dot first. And we can see in this rate cents by default is 0 and currency USD. We haven't set those values. Okay. This is the default product that is coming from my this file. Let me show it to you. Seeds.rb. I'm adding this Porsche. You can see the name, but I haven't added the money related part, right? So because I have not added money related part, by default it will take the value 0 and the rate by default currency is USD. So USD. Great. So let's exit this, clear. Now let's start working towards it. So what I will do is I'll use money.new. Yes. Using this, we can add values. Okay. So this is my seeds.rb file, which is a fake data. So I'll just add this. What will be this actually? Object.price. Okay. So we can use rate here. Okay. Now we already know that rate is not part of our schema. Rate cents and rate currency is part of our schema. But if we are using this, it will automatically convert rate into rate cents and rate currency. That's what I'm assuming. If it doesn't work, then we'll fix it. Okay, let's use 76 and euro is fine. Okay, so this is the first that I'll use, and second one will be 80 USD. Okay, now let's do this migration again. Rails db reset. Rails console product dot first, and we can see, but there is a problem. There is a problem. We have 76 only here. Let me check. Yes. If we are using 100, it gets converted to 100 cents only. So I'll have to manually convert it in this particular case, which should not have happened. But yeah, that's what the documentation says. So we'll have to do it something similar. But fine, you got the idea, I think. Okay. So we have 76 euro, and let's do this for another one, which is actually let's try to see this. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go to my index controller home, and in this I'll do at that product is equals to product dot first. Okay, and let's go to our home page. So we have now I'm showing you, so you got the idea how we can save it, right? You can easily wherever you are in your controller, you can use this money to pass the amount and the currency that user is selected, or you can use directly like rate cents and save this value for that rate currency, and you can save this value for that. Both of these will work, right? Now let's see how we will fetch that information back and show it to the user. Okay, so for that, let's go to views, home, index. Uh, at the rate product underscore first, sorry, I think it was first product dot name. That's one. And second product dot name. Okay, I'm a bit out of touch with Rails. I have to use Ruby code here, embedded Ruby code. Great. Now let's start the server Rails as. Right now we are just showing the names of the product that we are, okay, Porsche and Mac book. Now we will show the amount. So for that, currency is this, default currency we have this. I think something called as human. Yes, we can use these values. So let's try to use all these. I'm just thinking currency symbol is something that I will want to use. I want to use humanized money. Let's use humanized money here. This is just a text, nothing else. Just to see what all things we are exploring here. Inside humanized money, I'll pass at the rate first product dot I think we have to pass money object, which is rate in our case. Let's see. If it will fail, we'll see what we have to do. And we can see 0.76. Why 0.76? Because if you remember, we made the mistake of adding cents, not the dollar value. And that's why it is coming as 0.76, which basically means it's a cent. So maybe I can update that, reset the database so that you can easily understand this. Seeds 50, 75. Now these are in dot double value. So this is USD, which will go till cents. I don't know what is the currency for euro. So yeah, it will be 76.50 basically. So I'll just reset my database first. Clear Rails DB reset. Meanwhile, let's go to code, add some more values. With symbol, if you will use this method, you'll get it with symbol. And if you use this method just without cents, so basically everything which is before decimal, so it will just give you 6, it will give you $6, it will give you just cents, nothing else. So yeah, basically you got the idea what all things you can try, right? Let's not do this. And Rails S. So you can see euro 76.50. We got the symbol, even though we were saving it as EUR in our database, we got the correct symbol. It automatically handles that. If we just want the values, why do we need these values? Whenever you are adding multiple currencies, for example, you have the product, you have the tax on it, you have the shipping amount on it. So in that case, you won't need this currency. You will need these values to add them up, right? And in that case, we can use humanoid money, or you can just use the cents value, nothing special in that. But if you are showing something to the user, in that case, you can use this, okay? So basically, you got the idea how you can save it to the database and retrieve it back from the database. Maybe, yeah, if you want to go in much more depth of it, I have Airbnb clone series. In that, I have used money rails in a lot of places, saving it to the database, getting it back, updating it from to the database, all those kind of things. In that, I have used various kind of bifurcations like price, amount, I think tax also, the cleaning tax, something like that. So you can have a look at that also. That's it for this video. There will be a future video which will use this money rails, but in a much more better way, uh, in which we'll understand another gem, which is much more important than money rails gem. But money rails is something that we have to use that gem. Otherwise, that is just mute. We cannot use that. So that's it for this video. Do let me know if you like this. Thank you. Bye bye.